am Sherlin, Standard 8, studying Lourdes Girls Higher Secondary School. I am also a student of Junior IAS Academy. Welcome friends, pleasure morning to all. Today we are going to discuss about Standard 8 Science, Force and Pressure. The topic is Force and Pressure. In this chapter, first we see what is force, and thus we see how does the force come to play. That is due to interaction between the objects. The force come to play, then we explore more our forces. Then we'll also see what happens when forces in an object. When a force acts on an object, it can change of motion and it also can change the shape of an object. Then we study the types of forces, which is contact forces and non-contact forces. We also deal with pressure exerted by liquids and gases, and finally atmospheric pressure. So first we see what is force. In a science, a push or a pull on an object is called as force. For example, when we close the door, we push the door. Similarly, when we open the door, when actually pulling it, there also we applied force. So forces plays a very important role in our life. All actions like picking, opening, shutting, kicking, hitting, lifting, flickering, pushing, pulling, all trigger force. If you see all these examples like lift in the box, or opening a drawer, or a cricket ball, hit the batsman, this all is due to the action of force. Now, when does the force come to play? Whenever there is an interaction between two objects, there is a force between the two objects. Let's consider the examples giving in a textbook. In the first image, we see the man stands behind the car and the car doesn't move. There is no interaction between the car. And the man in this second image, the man begins to push the car and the applies a force and a car begins to move in a direction of a applied force. That is there the interaction, the car and the man, and hence the car move. Similarly, you can see the girl push each other, and here a girls are pulling each other. Here also the girls are applying force of each other. Similar of the case of the man and a cow. So from all these examples, we can say that at least two objects must interact for a force to come to play. Now let's learn more about forces to explore. More about forces, let's take a great example. Consider a heavy box and try pushing it by yourself. It will be very hard. Now ask friend to push it in same direction. It is easier to move. Do you know why it is? Because when forces are applied on an object in the same direction, they add to one another and in the object. Now ask your friend to push it in an opposite direction. What can you observe? Does a box move or will it stop? One is stronger and another one is weak. Lot force of box will move from the direction of the weaker guy, or if the equal force to the force will not move. So what can we understand from this? If the two forces act in the opposite direction on an object, the force net acting on it, the difference between the two forces. Similarly, if you consider the example of a tug of a war, we can see the two terms pull the rope in opposite direction, and here the rope does not move in any direction. So from all this we learn that a force could not be larger or smaller than other or equal to each other, and the strength of the force is usually expressed by its magnitude. The magnitude is the sum of all the forces acting on the body. We also have to specify the direction in which the force acts, and also if the direction of the magnitude of the applied force changes, its effects also changes. Now let's see what happens when the force acts on an object. The first one is a force can change the state of emotion. For example, while taking a penalty kick in football, the player applies a force on the ball, but before being it, the ball was at rest, and so it was speed 0. Now the applied force, what will happen? It makes the ball move towards the goal. Similarly, in the case of a goalkeeper, he dives or jumps to save up the ball by his action. The goalkeeper tries to apply force on the moving ball, and the force applied by him can stop or change the direction of the ball, saving a goal being scored. So from this observation, we can say that when a force is applied of an object, it may its speed. Now, how can a force change its speed? If the force applied is in the direction of its motion, the speed of the object increases. That is, for example, of a boy, he keeps hitting the ball in the same direction of the motion of the ball. The speed of the ball increases, and if the force is applied to the direction opposite to the direction of the motion of the object, it results in the disease in the speed of the objects decreases. Just as we saw in the previous style, when the goalkeeper it applies force on the moving ball, it either stops or the ball get deflected. So in that case, there's a decrease in the speed of that ball, and similarly, when a force is applied to the body at rest, it can be put into motion, and also the body in the motion goes to rest. If force is applied, that is before hitting the ball in a penalty kick, what happens? The ball was at a state of rest, and when a force is applied, motion of the ball take place. Similarly, when the goalie catches the ball, what happens? The ball which was in motion, it goes to rest. In this video, Standard 8 Science Force and Pressure. What is force and what is between the force and objects, and explored moreover forces and what is motion in detail. And next we see in the next video.